In this video, I'll show you how to replace the headlight assembly on a 4th generation Kia Sportage. And the best part is, you do not have to remove the front bumper for this job. According to the official workshop service manual, the recommended method is to remove the front bumper to access the headlights. But removing this bumper is not easy. There's a much easier way that saves you a lot of time and effort. First, make sure the engine is turned off. Then open the hood. Now, to create enough space to remove the headlight, we will have to slightly loosen the upper section of the bumper. Along the top edge of the bumper or radiator upper cover, you will find 4 plastic clips and 2 10mm bolts. Start by removing the clips. You can use a clip removal tool or a flathead screwdriver. Just carefully pry them up and pull them out. Next, take a 10mm socket and remove the 2 bolts holding the bumper from the top. Once those are out, the top edge of the bumper will have some flexibility, which will help us later when pulling out the headlight. Now move over to the headlight assembly itself. The headlight is secured by 3 bolts. There are 2 10mm bolts located near the front of the headlight, and 1 12mm bolt at the rear end of the headlight assembly. Remove the front bolts using a 10mm socket and ratchet. And remove the rear bolt using a 12mm socket. With the bolts removed, the headlight assembly is now free. However, before we pull out the headlight, we must first disconnect the wiring harness at the back of the headlight. There is only one main connector for the entire headlight assembly. For safety reasons, disconnect the negative terminal of the battery, but this step is not strictly necessary. Now press down on the locking tab on the side of the connector and gently pull it straight out of the headlight. Now the headlight is mostly free, but there's one more thing that will make this job much easier. On top of the fender, right next to the headlight, you will see this plastic side trim panel. The rear tab of the headlight actually sits underneath this trim. So if you try to pull the headlight out now, it can get stuck or feel like it is still held in place. So we will have to remove this trim piece first. It is only held in place by 2 plastic clips, so it is very easy to take off. Use a clip removal tool or a flathead screwdriver to pry up the clips. Then lift the trim panel straight up and set it aside. If you are wondering what this black stain is on the paint, it is actually glue that somehow melted away from the silver piece and transferred onto the paint. Anyway, with the side trim removed, the headlight assembly is now completely free and ready to be removed. Before pulling the headlight out, make sure the top edge of the bumper is fully unhooked from its mounting point. Sometimes it tends to snap back into place while you are working, which can block the headlight from coming out. So I'm going to place a large flathead screwdriver under the tab near the corner to keep it from hooking back in. This will hold the bumper slightly lifted and give us the clearance we need to safely remove the headlight without fighting against the bumper. Now it's time to remove the headlight assembly. Start by gently pushing the headlight forward, and at the same time apply a slight upward push from the front side. There are 2 plastic tabs underneath the headlight that are hooked into the mounting bracket, so it won't just come straight out. Take your time here. Do not try to force it out in one go. Just keep working it little by little, wiggling it forward and upward until those tabs release from the bracket. Once the tabs are free, the headlight will come out completely. Underneath the headlight, you can clearly see the 2 plastic tabs that lock into these 2 mounting points on the bracket. These tabs are what hold the lower part of the headlight in place, so you'll need to carefully guide them out of the slots during removal. Here is a close-up of the back side of the headlight. The LED driver module is mounted underneath the headlight assembly and secured by 4 Phillips head screws. Next, take your replacement headlight and carefully position it back into place. Make sure the 2 plastic tabs underneath the headlight are properly aligned with the mounting points on the bracket. Guide them in first. This is the most important part for correct fitting. It may take some time to properly align the tabs, so do not rush this step. Once the lower tabs are seated, gently push the headlight back into position. You may need to slightly lift or adjust it so everything lines up properly with the body and fender gap. Now we can remove the screwdriver that we placed under the bumper top cover. Now reinstall the headlight mounting bolts. Start by threading the bolts in by hand first. This helps ensure the threads are properly aligned and prevents cross-threading, which can damage the mounting points. Once all the bolts are in, take your socket and ratchet to tighten them down. As previously mentioned, the front bolts require a 10mm socket and the rear bolts require a 12mm socket. Next, reinstall the upper plastic trim piece on the fender. Start by aligning it with its original position along the edge of the fender. Once it is lined up, press the 2 clips back down firmly until you hear or feel them lock into place. Next, reconnect the electrical connector at the back of the headlight. Push it in until you hear it click into place. Now go back to the top of the bumper and make sure it is properly seated back into its original position. Then reinstall the 4 plastic clips back into place. Also, reinstall the 2 bolts and tighten them properly, but avoid over-tightening. Reconnect the negative terminal of the battery if you removed it earlier. Finally, close the hood. Then step back and check the alignment of the headlight with the fender, bumper and hood lines. Make sure the gaps are even on all sides and that everything is sitting flush. Now turn on the ignition and test the headlight to make sure everything is working correctly. Low beam, high beam, daytime running lights and turn signals. And that's how you replace a headlight on a 4th generation Kia Sportage without removing the bumper. Hope this video is helpful. Consider subscribing to VJoin for more helpful DIY automotive videos. Thanks for watching.